In this video, I'll demonstrate prone breathing, also referred to as prone Savasana. So this could be an option for ending a session or just a standalone practice on breathing on its own. So prone just simply means that we are resting on our stomach instead of on our back in this position. And I know that seems like such a no-no for some of us, like, oh, we hear that, oh, it's so bad to sleep on your belly and things like that. And I'm not discussing that right now. I don't sleep on my belly, I never go on my belly. But in certain positions, it can feel really nice to switch up the weight that we have on our back, switch up the weight that we feel on our back, and the pressure is going to change the ability for us to breathe in a different way. So when we are on our belly, we do not have the weight of our heart on our lungs. So that right there can give a nice ease, a little bit more sense of freedom to our breathing in this position. And it can also help you to access some lower portions of the lungs and just breathe a little bit better. For those of us, I don't even want to say necessarily just because you have a spinal fusion, with any back condition, you may feel like you just have an area where your ribs aren't moving and everything just feels like really tight and tense. And I found this position helpful for that because the chest is not moving as you are putting your pressure on the ground, or I'll be using a bolster. And so it's just natural that like the back ribs are getting some more movement. And it's a nice thing to visualize in your mind as well. So you could certainly be on your belly. I don't like just on the floor. I don't feel like that is so comfortable. I like having something under my torso. And that something, if you don't have a bolster, it could be some good stiff pillows or even better is stacking a couple rectangular blankets that are long enough to cover your torso. And the reason why it's good to have blankets that are more sturdy or a sturdy bolster is that we're not just completely sinking into it, that it's giving us some feedback. And if we want to use our padding in any way, that can help us, that we're not just, again, sinking into everything here. So I ordered this bolster online, and for years and years it just sat in my closet because I was like, this thing is so big, I don't know what to do with it. But I found it works out really well for this position because it gives the limbs something to kind of drape off of. I have a block for my head. Even if you're lower on the floor, you'll want something for the forehead because we don't want to keep the neck in a rotated position. We want to keep the neck nice and neutral with the spine. So you're going to have something for under your forehead, and that something may simply just be a rolled up towel or a blanket. Now, because I am higher on this bolster, my arms feel nice if they have a little bit more support instead of just hanging down to the ground. So those blocks are optional. You might not need them at all. And I will suggest having a blanket rolled up for your ankles. So I'm going to roll this on up. Now, I think the trickiest part of this, like once you decide what you're going to rest your torso on, is figuring out the height for your head. And that takes some trial and error. Because if everything else is just right, but the head is too high or too low, when you get out, you might feel like, oh, that didn't quite work for me. So again, this is why washcloths are really nice, because you can just add like just a little bit or take away a little bit as you need instead of like a very thick blanket. So I'm going to come forward, and this roll is for the front of my ankles to support them. I'll come forward onto my bolster. And when I come down to my bolster, I can feel my right hip has a little space and my left hip is rotated down more to the ground. I have a clockwise rotation in my pelvis. So to move out of that, I do have an extra towel over here. I could put a little something under my left side to help to derotate that. I'm going to put my blankets or my little towels under this 3-inch block to find what feels like the appropriate height for my forehead. And my hands can go to the floor. Feel like this isn't so great for my rounded shoulders, so a little bit of height feels kind of nice. And even if I had 4 blocks, that would be quite nice. 2 under each arm. So I'm supporting my wrist a little bit so I'm not breaking off at my wrist. And once you come into your position, take a minute just to let yourself settle and see if you want to adjust anything, such as where your head support is. And then the focus here can be breathing into the back ribs, just generally breathing into the back ribs. So you could do a directed breath into the concavities. But for me, when I would jokingly say that my back felt like there was a cinder block, like I just find it helpful just to imagine that whole area is just receiving the breath, and that there's some expansion as I breathe in and a softening as I breathe out. If this doesn't feel comfortable, don't make yourself stay. You know, maybe you just want to breathe in this position for 1 minute, and maybe over time it might feel more comfortable, but it also may not be for you. I'm feeling quite comfortable here. So you could stay here 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever feels nice for you. And when you're ready to come out, you may bring your arms down to the floor so the forearms are supported on your mat, and press yourself up onto hands and knees, walking your knees in and making your way up from this position. And that is our prone breathing.